They say that the disco DJ is the most important person in the club, and we're going to find out why from a disco DJ. I have with me John Jellybean Benitez, who has been a DJ since he was a young teenager. And now he's a DJ by night and a college student by day. And of course, the first question I have to ask a person who's been a DJ at the top New York discos is, where'd you get a name like Jellybean?
For my sister in 3rd grade. My initials are JB, and she gave me Jelly for J and Bean for Bean, Benitez.
It stuck all these years. Well, when people think of DJ a few years ago, maybe they think of a radio DJ, but now there's a whole different kind of DJ on the scene, the club DJs. And how do you think your job differs from a radio disc jockey?
Well, I'm dealing with the audience, and they deal with the same audience, but they don't see the audience that they're playing to, where I'm in total control of the audience that's dancing. And, you know, people that listen to the radio are in their car sitting down or at home, where I'm dealing with people that are dancing, and I have to be totally aware of what's happening at all times.
Do you keep real eye contact and you watch what's happening in the audience?
All the time. I have to, otherwise I'd lose them. If I lose them, it'd be a total loss.
Now, I've read that there are some club DJs who get insulted when people make requests. Do you take requests in your club?
Well, I tell them I do, but I don't. It interrupts the flow. You know, if I'm concentrating on 1,000 dancers on the dance floor and someone comes over and asks me for a record, I can't really please that one person if I have, 800 to 1,000 people on the dance floor.
Well, now your secret is out. Well, actually, the music you play is completely important to the success of the club. If people like it, they come back, and if they don't, they won't. How do you pick which records you're going to play?
Well, when you're working in a regular club, you more or less get a sound. When you hear a record, you more or less know if it's going to go over or it's not. So I try to go along with, I know what to go over.
Do you read the trade magazines as to which disco songs are on top, or do you do it mostly by ear?
Well, I read all the trades. I report to all the trades. So most of the records that I play at my club are reported to the trades, so they show up on the charts. So I'm part of that, and I do read the trades, definitely.
Well, Jellybean, you've worked in a couple of different discos, and as I understand it, audiences vary from disco to disco, and even within the same disco and the same night. Do you adjust your music for the different kinds of audiences? Definitely.
When you're playing for different audiences, it's different type of records that they like. If you're playing for a black audience, it might be a funkier sound. Playing for a gay audience, more pretty, a lot of female vocals. Straight audience, I think, is the easiest to play for. They more or less like anything that you play that they can dance to.
Well, we've interviewed some record people in these shows, and we found that they're very interested in what the disco DJs think. How do you work with the record companies?
Well, I deal mainly with the promotion end of it. The promotion people keep in good contact with me. I make sure I get my records from them, and they make sure I get the feedback and make sure I play and report the records. Does
someone ever tell you they have the greatest record ever made and you don't like it? What do you do with that?
Oh, I tell them I don't like it. You can't force me to play a record. I know that's not going to work.
Jellybean, what do you think a good mix of music is?
Well, as long as you keep the dancers dancing, I think that's the most important part of mixing. If you synchronize the beats and it comes out smoothly without them really realizing that you went from one song to the other, I consider that a good mix.
It seems that different DJs have different approaches to playing a whole series of hard, fast music and then a whole series of slow music. How do you mix that in?
Well, I try to start slow and build up to the peak of the evening and come down from there.
How many hours does that take to do that?
Well, in New York, most clubs don't really have any closing time. I usually get out about 8 or 9 in the morning, start at 11. Most clubs close at 4, but I play for an extremely different audience than you'd find at most clubs. And they dance all night, and it's different.
I also understand that you're planning to study music law. How is that related to your disc jockeying?
Well, I'm getting more into production now, mixing records, and I eventually like to produce, and I like to know what I'm signing. So I just, I have a marketing background, and since I have a good ear for A&R, I just want to know what I'm signing and know more about what I'm learning about.
When you say you want to eventually produce records, what would that entail? What kind of work does that take?
Well, I want to find an artist that would have a mass appeal, and go in the studio, pick the material, and get the musicians together and have a hit.
Make a lot of money. Do you have to know a lot about music to do that?
I know what the people dance to. That's all I really know. Most producers can read music and perform instruments. I can't. I just know what they dance for, and what they're going to buy, and what they like to hear. That's what I can help an artist in.
Do you like to dance?
Yes. Once in a while. Not all the time, but when I'm away from the club, I don't really feel like going to a club. We're working 4 or 5 nights a week.
Well, maybe we'll catch a dance before you leave here.